So the past couple of weeks, a lot of my friends have gotten into the FPV hobby, which is awesome, and that made me realize there's actually some very important tips when doing your first maiden that everyone should know. So here's my list of 5 tips when you're doing your first maiden. Let's dive into it. My first tip is fly a simulator. Now it's absolutely crucial, according to me, because the simulator will help you cross coordinate, yaw and roll movements, make smooth turns. Without the simulator, you will have a very hard time flying in acro the first time. The simulator will definitely shave off a lot of crashes. Now, that being said, I would definitely recommend the simulator liftoff. It's the one I've been using the most, and I definitely think it's one of the best. I think it's really accurate, it has some really nice maps, although there could be more of them. And you can also fly multiplayer, which is awesome, because then if you have a few friends that already fly drones, then you can try and fly with them.
Let's do this, huh?
So let's say you've been flying the simulator, and now you're ready to do some physical tests. Now, the first thing I would do is make sure everything is working before you actually put the props on. Try your arm switches, try what it does in a fail-safe by just turning off your radio without the props on then. And try your flight switches, try your beeper, just try as much stuff as possible. And also make sure the motor directions are correct on all 4 motors. Make sure that the movement corresponds to the movement inside of the Betaflight configurator. Just try to do as many tests as possible. For instance, let's say you have a failsafe that will add full throttle when you disconnect. Well, then you might never see your quad again. So better safe than sorry. Test as much stuff as you possibly can without the props. Be creative. So the day has finally arrived and it's time for you to actually fly your quad. Now the first thing you have to remember, and that is very important, is that you find a safe place to fly at. And what is a safe place, you might ask? Well, I would classify the best place to fly is at an open field, preferably with short grass. And that way, when you crash, it will at least be a soft landing. Also, it will be very easy to find your quad. Which brings me to the next tip. So tip number 4 is all about how you should fly your quad. Now I strongly recommend that you fly your quad pretty low to the ground. It's very easy to get very high up at your first flight, which could be very dangerous, because then if you lose signal or something goes wrong or you lose control, then you will fall very far to the ground. So I do recommend try to stay close to the ground. That way, even if you crash into the ground, it's probably going to be a very light crash and you won't actually break anything. Now the second tip is, beyond flying close to the ground, make sure that you keep a bit of momentum forward all the time. It's way harder to stand still in the air than it is to move forward, so try to fly a slow flight. And then also make sure you disarm in time. If you feel like you're losing control, just disarm. Your quad will be way more likely to survive if you actually disarm in time. And now we have arrived at my 5th and final tip. And this one's completely optional. Now it will be way more fun if you actually bring a friend out to your maiden flight. Now that friend doesn't have to have any experience whatsoever with RC. It's just nice to have somebody that give you a bit of motivation and somebody you can talk to. Also, you can help each other troubleshoot if something actually goes wrong. So that's my 5 tips, and I hope you find them helpful when doing your first maiden flight. If you liked the video, please like and check out some other videos. I have some linked around here. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.